Hi everyone, welcome back to the Shin Academy. I know it's been a while since I last uploaded a video, but here am I with the new Watch a Book series focusing on the book Creativity Inc. Well, this is a book written by Catmull, the president of Pixar Animation and Disney Animation. As you can see from the title page, the tagline is overcoming the unseen forces that stand in the way of true inspiration. So this is a book about creativity. If you want to increase the creativity level of the employees in your film, or you just want to learn ways, the best known methods used by Pixar to come up with so many animation hits such as Inside Out, Up, Cars, Toy Story, and how Pixar's method helped Disney Animation to produce recent hits such as Frozen, Wreck-It Ralph, as well as Zootopia. Well, for me personally, this is a must-read book for anyone who wants to learn about Pixar, and it is not a standard book like The 7 Habits of Highly Successful People, where you have a list of to-do to tell you how do you become more effective or more successful. This book is written in a way that it uses a narrative method to tell the story of Pixar animation, and along the way the author inserted some of the tips and tricks that you can use or you can utilize in your company to emulate Pixar's success in this particular area. Before we go into chapter number 1, I think you should know these 3 main characters in the story. First is Catmull. Catmull is the president of Pixar Animation and Walt Disney Animation. He is a technologist, the person who invented the tools for animation, computer animation to be used in cartoons. John Lasseter is his, if I'm not mistaken, the second highest ranking officer in Pixar Animation. He is like the co-founder of Pixar Animation. Well, not really the co-founder, but one of the most important people. He is the chief creative officer of Pixar Animation. If you have watched Toy Story, you have watched his work. He was the creator of Toy Story, and he is the master storyteller of Pixar Animation. And you keep hearing his story along the way. And the person on the right, most of this slide, I think he needs no introduction. Steve Jobs, the CEO of Apple Computer. But not many people know that Steve Jobs is also the CEO and the largest shareholder of Pixar Animation Studio. And when Disney bought over Pixar a few years back, Steve Jobs indirectly became the largest shareholder of the whole Disney corporation. And this shows how great Steve Jobs is. And I can say that 30% of this book has somewhat a relationship with Steve Jobs, and you'll hear more story about Steve Jobs also in Creativity Inc. Now let's move on to the first chapter of the book, Animated. The author talked about his childhood dream in this chapter, how he became involved in computer animation. He mentioned that Walt Disney and Albert Einstein were his 2 idols during his childhood time. He really admired Albert Einstein to discover, to explain what is going on around us, and he admired Walt Disney's creativity in creating something new, especially in the area of animation. And he loves Cinderella, Peter Pan, and his dream was to become an animator. He believes that an animator is someone that can make each character in a film a thinking being. Because of that, he loves doing flip books when he was young. Those flip books are the traditional method of animator, or where animator used to create cartoons, the moving objects that you see in the cartoons, where you flip the book in a very fast speed, and you can see through different drawings, then you can see, like for example, Mickey Mouse moving or walking. But he understands that he was never really talented enough to work in Disney, so he went to venture into another field that is related to animation, but it's more on the technology side. He has 2 degrees in physics and computer science, and Ed Catmull has developed a new way to animate with computers. At that time, not many people know how to render complex objects such as a hand, and the professor in fact has an exchange program with Disney to seed in these animators into Disney, and Ed Catmull successfully invented some ways to animate with computers. For example, the Z buffering method that you see on your right is a method that is extensively being used in game and chips nowadays, where one animated object can be placed behind the other to create a sense of depth and shadowing. This Z buffering method was created by Ed Catmull at that time. But despite the advancement being achieved in computer animation, Disney don't really like it because they think that computers and animation do not really mix. To find out what happened to Ed Catmull and the other characters in this book, be sure to stay tuned in our YouTube channel. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel, the Shin Academy, and I will upload the subsequent videos for the subsequent chapters.